the next speaker is Alicia. Could you come up on stage? Where are you? Yeah. She's actually doing something wonderful globally. She's a true community builder, and I'm an aspiring community builder myself, but I think she's doing so much better than me. So I wanted her to give a presentation on what she's doing. And yeah, please come up to the stage. Could you please give a round of applause? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Erica. Hi, guys. I'm really excited to be here. Which one of you was at Beyond Blocks? Whoa, okay. Yeah, it's been wild. It's been really crazy. My name's Alicia. I'm actually from Germany, based in the US, SF in the Bay Area. I'm a co-founder of Starfish Network. I know it says Starfish Mission. We're actually called Starfish Network. Our first hub is Starfish Mission. So what do? We build communities for the decentralized world. We basically build physical, is a mic, right? We build physical hubs for the blockchain community. So who we are on a very broad level. We build hubs and learning networks for the blockchain community. Our vision, we're very value-driven. We build, we're striving to build a decentralized self-governing incubation network to change everything, to change commerce, communication, governance, effectively upgrading the operating system of our world. I'm very inspired by the original values of blockchain, which is decentralization, upgrading our operating system, which is money, changing to different currencies. Also, our name, Starfish, a lot of people ask me where that comes from. It comes from this book, The Starfish and the Spider. It's a seminal work from 2006 by a Berkeley scholar called Ulrich Braffman. And it talks about the power of decentralized organizations versus centralized systems. The starfish is a decentralized organism in nature. It has no central control unit. And I don't know how many of you guys know this, but basically, if you cut an arm of a starfish, it grows back. And with a lot of starfish species, if you chop it up, it basically multiplies. And in this book, they use a starfish as an example of a decentralized system in nature, versus a spider, which is a centralized system in nature. A spider organization would be a corporate organization, for example, with a CEO, with a corporate structure, with a top-down model. Corporate structures or centralized structures are very vulnerable. If you going with the example of the spider, if you chop the head off the spider, it dies. If you chop off a leg, it's crippled. Whereas decentralized organizations are very resilient, and if you try to bring them down, chances are they will grow stronger. Examples of decentralized organizations are very prevalent all over the place. For example, the open source movement, Wikipedia, to some extent, networks like couchsurfing, also social networks. There's a centralized unit, but the user base, the content is all created in a decentralized way. Yeah, and these days the blockchain movement is somewhat decentralized. What is a hub? An ecosystem for collaborative interactions, an inclusive community with an industry focus, for us that is a blockchain focus, and an alignment on vision and values. To make that a bit more clear, we build physical hubs, so we don't just build networks or meetup groups. We started out with meetup groups, but we found that in the community there was this need to have a physical location where people can interact and network and collaborate. So that's why we opened a physical hub. It's very open and inclusive, which sets us apart from incubation. I have a lot of respect for incubation. I used to work with an incubator, but basically incubators are selective in their audience in a way in which we are not. We are an open co-working community. If you have a strong focus in blockchain and decentralization, you can join the community. And we do events, open, free events, 4 times a week or more. We've been open for 3.5 months, and we do an average about 23 or 24 events a month. These are some facts about our flagship location, which we opened in San Francisco, like I said, 3.5 months ago, April 9th. And since we opened, something really incredible has happened. We've just had a lot of community engagement. Initially, when we opened, we thought we could just bring the community together to build a co-working hub, throw some industry events, but I didn't really have a defined vision beyond that intention to bring the local community together. This is our space. So the thing that happened, though, is that I think we have a few very interesting approaches when it comes to network building and events. We do highly curated events. So we get a lot of requests. We actually only accept maybe about 1/3 of the event requests we get, and they're all very highly targeted topics. For example, we just had an AI and retail blockchain panel, or use cases for sustainability. We do a lot of launches, like testnet and mainnet launches, working on programming for state channels. We do workshops. We did smart contract auditing workshops, legal workshops. So our events draw a very high quality audience, which is 65% technical. I've compared that with other hubs. I've yet to meet a hub or space that has an audience that is this technical. The highest number I've come across was 55%. In this hub, we have 1,000 unique visitors per month. We are also, I'll get to that in a moment, but we're also branching out to other cities. So this is our first hub. It's sort of an experimental ground. We're also branching out to Berlin and LA, and we have partner hubs, one of which is Nantes and Seoul, and Hash Hub in Tokyo. This is what we do, which I believe is very different from how things are usually done. And which has led me to develop a bigger vision to build hubs across the globe and build a decentralized incubator. We started off with a bootstrap mind. We basically didn't go into this looking for funding. We put some of our personal funds in, but we wanted to have full control to be able to experiment with new models. I didn't want to set out to build a standard incubator. I wanted to do something new that serves the same purpose, but in a new way, which is not as centralized. So what we did was we connected existing networks, existing meetups, and other communities in the blockchain space, and brought them all together to create a network effect. Tackle the intangible, avoid cash. It sounds a bit drastic, but I think that we often forget in the blockchain community that what actually inspired us was to create new currencies, new stores of value, yet a lot of people are still so focused on cash transactions or the USD value of whatever you're doing. And we're a hub, so our main value prop is exposure and network. So we set out to find people who can benefit from that a lot, and who can add value to the community in a way that is much more beneficial to the community than purchasing their services. An example of this would be education partnerships, of which we have 2 solid ones with a network called PeerBuds and Oakland Blockchain Devs. So we've partnered up with them on education. We help them promote their offerings, and they develop the content. Another one would be our media studios. We got a full podcast studio built out. We got a media studio built out with partners who benefit from the network. There was no cash transaction, but there is a transaction taking place. And I think that in our community, we should be living our values wherever we can. So this has been an amazing journey so far. Give value first. All our events are free, which brings in an amazing audience, which we then capitalize on later in other ways because a lot of people look for exposure within the audience. But for about a month, we were basically just doing really amazing events for free. And I like that mindset because I believe that if you want to work with people, you have to offer them value first. Curated events, already mentioned that, so we put a lot of effort into that. All our events are really educational, so we want to bring people together to help each other grow. Experiment, we're experimenting with all kinds of things. We experiment with blockchain technology in the space. We've developed some tokens to power transactions in the space. We've had art events. We have decentralized art installations happening in one room with online transmission of those art offerings, and then other events happening in another room to create this sort of web of blockchain culture, cultural messages. P2P learning, this is one of the things I was referring to when I say that when I set out, I didn't quite know what I was starting because we brought so much community into the space. We started some peer-to-peer networks as well because there are a lot of people who had the same interests and they wanted to help each other with their learning and with their companies. So we have a bunch of peer-to-peer networks. One is a Solidity group. We're also starting a Hyperledger group. We have a white paper group. So instead of going for a centralized approach where you would consult people on their white papers, what I did was I just brought everyone together who wants to work on their white papers. And that totally took off. So I'd say that these peer-to-peer networks have become a cornerstone of our movement, of our hub. No ads. We don't promote our events. I mean, we list them online, but we don't try to make noise for people to come and join, which means that those who do attend our events are usually people who are looking for topics in this space, looking for events with, in this space. No titles. Because it's a bit of an experimental ground, we don't have titles within the organization. So we have descriptors instead, which we adapt on a pretty regular basis. Right now my descriptor is growth. But as we grow, I might move into a different role. We share our values. I just, when I set out to do this, I just wanted to do something that actually speaks to me. So I'm still figuring out where this will go. It's 3.5 months old. It's growing every day. But for me, it's really important to be grounded in my values, which is I don't believe in money. I believe that we need to upgrade our money system. I believe that, let me go to the next slide. I believe that everyone wants to contribute, and we're currently not tapping into the potential of our communities. Or in the tech community, there are a lot of people that want to contribute way more than they currently are doing, and I believe that centralized structures are standing in the way of people contributing. So when I structure my programming and my hubs, I keep all of those beliefs in mind to create a space where something new can take shape. What else would drive us? There's a need for hubs in emerging tech communities. A lot of people ask me, like, why do you do this? Or why would you open a co-working space? Because I saw the need. And I think that's why I took off so quickly. The tech ecosystem needs an upgrade. Top-down incubation is inefficient. I used to work with an incubator, so the Founder Institute, and I believe incubation is amazing and has added a lot of value to the world, but also this concept that there are the experts at the top and people who need to be taught by the experts, again, I think stands in the way of people actually really contributing. So I try to not do that. I just give people structure to support each other. Money is flawed. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Couple more things to add. So we're also building in Berlin. We're also building in LA. We're steadily expanding our partner network, and we really want to support the industry. So with my current partners here and in Tokyo, I'm working on a directory for labs, lightning apps, because I think that's one of the things that the industry really needs right now. Also, we are setting out to create a global ecosystem of hubs where people can show up and basically be really tapped into the community. Another thing we're doing is diversity reports. So we're working on that to release a diversity report for the industry around December this year. It's a pretty big project. It involves pulling a lot of networks and people together to make it happen. But I think that we're such a new industry. There's no real data and diversity in this industry. And yeah, I want to do something to capture the state of the industry and support diversity, not just women, but diversity in all aspects of the matter. Thank you, guys. Any questions?